Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we're talking the Paula's Choice problem. Now, you're probably sat there thinking, what? I've never heard of this. And for those of you that have, might think it's not just unique to Paula's Choice. You'd be absolutely right. This is a term which has been used in the skincare community to refer to when brands, and let's be honest, there's a whole host of them that are guilty of this, create so many of what are very similar products. It becomes baffling to the consumer. We could use the example of Paula's Choice because in a lot of ways, I think they're the worst offender. You go onto their website and you'll see under the cleansing section, 26 different cleansers. Now, this will differ depending on which territory in the world you live, but on average there are 26 options for us to choose from. You delve within those cleansers and there's not a whole host of difference between the individual ones. In some instances, and there's 4 that I could actually find, I'll leave some examples below, where you actually are getting exactly the same product. The exact same ingredient list is just in a slightly different bottle. It's presented slightly differently and for a different market. This leads to us as consumers being completely baffled. Which one do we reach for? Instead of just going and choosing between, a gel and a balm cleanser, which we all kind of know the difference between, we're faced with 26 different products to choose from, and they're all pretty much doing the same thing. In this video, we're going to look at why brands do this, but more importantly, as consumers, how we can kind of navigate through this and what we can do to make sure that we don't fall foul to buying potentially the exact same product that's going to be doing absolutely nothing additional for our skin. So, if you want to find out a little bit more, keep on watching. Now, I just called out Paula's Choice cleansers as being a supreme example of this in action, but actually, if you go into the Paula's Choice catalogue a bit further, you'll also see they have so many different moisturizers which all have very similar base ingredients and aren't offering a material difference from one product to the other. You've also got their standalone serums being pretty much the same as their booster series. So you could get the 1% clinical retinol in their serum and you can get the 1% clinical booster. They're very similar. There are a few tiny tweaks to the ingredients list, but in effect, they are exactly the same product. This can be so confusing to us as consumers, but it's not just Paula's Choice that do it. You can look at even one of my favorite brands, Face Theory, a brand which I absolutely adore and fangirl hard over. In fact, I captured my love for them in a recent video, which I'll leave a link to up there. Even them who are a reasonably new brand, you can see this kind of creeping in. You'll go on their website and they have an awful lot of moisturizers, and when you read in, there are some that stand out as being unique and different, but a lot of them also just fit in that mid-market. You can't really tell the difference between one and the other and what it'll deliver for your skin. You'll also see this at the drugstore with Garnier, Nivea, Revlon do the same exact thing with makeup. This is quite a wide-known industry phenomenon, and whilst I called out Paula's Choice as being kind of the leader in some of this in terms of how far they've taken it, this isn't something that's just unique to a few brands. So why do companies do this? Or do companies go out of their way to actually just confuse us as consumers and leave us baffled? Well, there's a reason for doing it. Is all in sales. Everything comes back to the coin that they can earn. If you read any marketing literature, you'll see that people are more likely to purchase a product if it is targeted at them and how they identify. So, for example, if you have acne-prone skin, you're somebody who feels that you have blemish, oily, acne-prone skin like myself, you're more likely to reach for a product that's badged as acne fighting, oil controlling, or tackling things associated with oily skin. Similarly, if you have drier skin, you're more likely to reach to a product that's intensely hydrating and designed to target the drier skin market. So brands think, okay, this is a great way of taking one product, standard product, and then we'll divide it. We'll do the same product. We'll have 3 different packaging. One for acne-prone skin, one for dry skin, and one for sensitive skin. This they're actually able to do. It's not infringing on any consumer protection legislation or any rules and regulations in most countries, because all companies are obliged to do is put that full ingredients list on the bottle. Providing they do that, the fact is exactly the same across 3 different pieces of marketing doesn't actually matter. They can get away with this. However, it leaves us as a consumer totally baffled. And what really gets me is often because they're targeting it, because they're really going in hard like a laser focus on a particular group of people. They know that that product's going to be bought into by that group, and so they can command a higher price point. So this, beyond just being a marketing strategy to sell a few extra units, is also used as a way of increasing the price of the products to earn more coin. And this is where it gets us as consumers. We end up paying more and we're totally baffled and confused in the process. You go onto these websites and you have no idea what cleanser to buy, no idea if that's the right price to be paying for that cleanser, and it ends up feeling a little bit more stressed than we need to be when it comes to choosing these products. So what can we do? Well, I've got a couple of hints, tips and hacks to get around this. First of all, always shop the original. So beyond just packaging things in 3 different containers to pitch at different markets. Brands will also take a cult product, and I'm going to use the Bioderma micellar water, one of the world's best-selling micellar waters. Their original, stunning product worked so well, people gravitated towards it and bought it in bulk. They realised there's a demand for this product, this is fantastic. Well, let's badge what is in effect a very similar product. We'll tweak a few ingredients, maybe change a few components around, and then we'll badge it for different skin types. They now have a sensitive one, they now have one for drier skin, they now have one with actual oil suspension in it, which is just a marketing gimmick, and all of these cost slightly more than the original. In effect, none of them are as good as the original. Even if you have any of those skin types, sensitive, dry skin, the original still will work best for you. And this is the case with most of these things. When brands reformulate something and make it so much better, they discontinue the original and keep this new reformulation as the original, the holy grail, the best product, because they know that that's offering the very best for their consumers. When they kind of bring other versions of practically the same thing out alongside it, it usually means it's a cash grab. So I would always say, definitely gravitate towards the original, the holy grail, the OG product as a starting point. There are some examples, and I'd love for you to share any that you have where a newer launch from basically the same product actually worked better for you. If you could think of any, sound off in the comments below, because let's get that conversation going. But generally speaking, the original is usually the best, and so I'd always reach for that. Secondly, I would always start at the cheapest price point. This isn't because I'm a cheapskate. I do love a bargain. I am drugstore to my core. But also because often when they rebadge things and they target them specifically at different groups, that's when it comes to that higher price point. If you filter on a website by price, you go to the Paulas choice, you go to the cleansers, you can filter by price. I would start at the cheapest one, particularly because when you're talking about a brand like Paula's Choice, which for all that I'm calling this out in this video, they're not alone in this, and actually their formulations in general are really good. I actually think Paula's Choice as a brand has some good products within it. I actually captured this in a video where I did a full brand review, which I'll link up there because you might want to check that out in a bit more detail. But even their cheapest products are actually super effective. And so if you filter by price, you know that the first one you're going to see, the cheapest product, is probably the one that hasn't been adulterated with good marketing, hasn't been, targeted super laser-like on a specific group, and hasn't attracted that additional coin to be enabled to justify that. So I would always say start with the cheapest and work your way up from there. Read what that least expensive one is selling you, what it's going to do, what the ingredients are going to offer you, and then actually compare and contrast it to maybe one of the mid-price ones and see what you're actually getting for the extra coin. In a lot of instances, it's pretty much nothing beyond some nice words, maybe a fancier packet. You're not really getting anything in terms of those ingredients. So the cheapest is always a great start point. Thirdly, always stay away from limited edition skincare. This is my number one pet hate in skincare, is limited edition releases. There's a couple of reasons why I dislike that. Doesn't mean that these are bad. Actually, I've tried in the past some great limited edition skincare, but ultimately we're always left disappointed because by the nature of it, it's limited edition, so it's going to be taken off market at some point. You reach for a product, it's your new holy grail, it's ding ding ding, game changing. You can't wait to tell all your friends how amazing it is. They're saying in the street, oh, your skin looks snatched, it looks stunning, like what are you using? And then you say, oh, this limited edition product. You're feeling great about it, you love having it in your routine. Then it's gone, disappears. By its nature, it's going to be withdrawn from the market. And this is why I think it's really, really in bad taste when brands do limited edition releases, because it is just a cash grab and people want to be able to enjoy products for the long term. I always think the best skincare is the one that we invest in, and it almost becomes like a hobby to be using it every single day. That's when you're going to see the most benefit. I have been devastated so many times when I've tried a product that I absolutely love and it's withdrawn, and I should know better because the limited edition, it's in the name. So I would definitely say to people, stay away from limited edition skincare, because in effect you're just setting yourself up for disappointment because you know that that product at some point is going to be withdrawn. Some sneaky companies do it as like a launch tactic, then it becomes super popular and it becomes a permanent fixture. That's okay, because at that point it's worth purchasing that product and maybe investing in it. But until that point's reached, just stay away from the limited edition skincare. And finally, I think as consumers we kind of have a part to play in this, where when we're making recommendations and when we're sharing our thoughts, feelings on certain products, we always kind of say the Bioderma micellar water. We don't ever actually say the one with the blue cap, the one with the green cap, whichever particular one we're using, because they're always just tweaks and slight changes on a single standalone product. We kind of lump them all together. And so I think when we're talking about products, and I'll definitely be doing this more on these videos, because a couple of people have in the past questioned in the comments, were you referring to this one or this one. I think we can be a little bit more specific about the exact one that we're using and the exact the exact name of that product. This kind of allows people to understand exactly what they're getting, because there are sometimes small differences between each of these products. So it's good to know if you're talking about the Bioderma original or if you're actually fangirling hard over their sensitive skin version. So I think as consumers, we can definitely be a little bit more prescriptive in terms of the exact product from that line that we're using, rather than doing what I usually do and saying, oh, the Bioderma micellar water or the Make Prem sunscreen, when actually there's a whole host of products that could actually apply to. So there you have it, guys. My rant for the day. I'm going to step off my soapbox and we can get on with the rest of my day. But actually, I did just want to film this because I know a lot of people out there are feeling really confused about the amount of choice in skincare at the moment. A lot more people are reaching for skincare. You know, we've all had, most of us have had a little bit more time on our hands in the last year. And it's great to see that people have been investing that in self-care and in skincare. But brands are wise to this and they know the market's growing, and so they want to plug it with products to get their maximum share of that market. Hopefully this will just give you a quick idea of how to kind of skirt around that and maybe make your choices in terms of purchasing skincare that little bit easier. I would definitely recommend you check out that review I did of Paula's Choice, because whilst I'm calling Paula's Choice out here in this video, they kind of come in for the flack because they are the ones that do this the most. I think they're the best and most extreme example of this. But like I say, there are so many other brands out there that do exactly the same thing. So I kind of don't want it to be shady on Paula's Choice. I definitely recommend you check out that review because there are some really great products from the Paula's Choice skincare line that I would absolutely recommend you take a look at if you're thinking of buying from them. So, let's just turn it into a positive and definitely check out some of those where I break it down by the exact name of each of those products I think might be worth investing in. Wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.